Hello everyone, Press7 here, back with some more Bloons TD Battles 2 on the new map Star, which, I'm just gonna say it now, is my favorite map in the game. I didn't really have a favorite map before, I was just kinda meh about all the maps. If I did have to pick a favorite, it'd probably be maybe like Bloons Mines, just, I don't know, I just kinda like the aesthetic of the map, not really like the map itself, but Star is probably one of my actually favorite maps to play on, and even though it's only like, I think this is actually the first game I actually play on Star, so my strategy I chose was Ninja Boat sub. Wasn't really too sure what I wanted to do on this map. I didn't really want to do Dartling, as you know, Dartling is kind of boring, everyone does that, so I just figured, hey, strat seems pretty good. There's a decent amount of water space, which there was a lot, to be honest. On this map, I was just kind of maybe using like as a sub here was only like brought for first strike. Ninja was brought just because Ninja's cracked all around, and boat for, of course, alt eco. As we can see, my opponent Toaster is going for the ISAB strat. Or, well, this is actually the first time well, ISAB was the first person I've actually seen use the strat, which was Bomb, Sub, and Farm. Bomb, Sub, Farm is a strat that I've personally would have thought about doing, but I thought replacing, Sub with Mortar simply just because I want, like, more Striker Jones synergy. And, people do bring Striker Jones for, Bomb. Of course, there's nothing wrong with that, but I personally want to use kind of both at the same time. So maybe that's something I'll do in the future. Bomb, Mortar, Farm, see how that does. DT defense is going to be Balloon Crush, simply just because that's really the only thing. Of course, there's Papanaw, but I don't think Papanaw would be really too reliable for, like, 28. And of course, Papanaw is an ability, so yeah, I'm not even going to rely on that as well. So, of course, it's interesting seeing that, this strat being actually played with Benjamin instead of, Striker Jones. I am curious to see, like, if, I guess, maybe Ben would be better than Striker, but it's just kind of maybe a personal preference thing. I definitely can see, an argument being made for Benjamin over Striker Jones, but I guess that doesn't really matter too much. He rushes me with 2 BFBs. I sell everything preemptively, which was a terrible idea, as I was thinking, hey, maybe I can use Sub Commander. Sub Commander is a tower that I'd never really used before, but I ended up being short of Sub Commander by a lot. So I ended up selling way too early, but it didn't really matter anyway, as AP darts and a ballistic missile and, like, sticky bomb was more than enough, although I'm sure my opponent's probably laughing, just like seeing me sell everything way too early. And again, I don't really use sub too often, so I'm not really sure how good AP darts is on, I guess, just kind of in general. As ballistic missile I feel like kind of outshines pretty much everything. I don't really see bottom path sub too much, so I guess it's kind of is understandable. And of course, Ninja is good all around, so I wasn't really too worried about that. Only issue right now was DT defense. Really, the only thing I really do have is really Ninja. I don't think I have preemptive strike unlocked. Even if I did, preemptive is trash. Even after the update, I still don't think preemptive is too useful. I sent a CMG out, completely forgetting that he has sub, so of course so he can just easily first strike that, and of course he has Wall Street as well, which is kind of bad for me. So I'm like honestly low-key panicking, as again 26 is kind of a round that I'm a bit scared of. Is really my only DDT defense is, well, Ninja. Of course I could, like maybe Sabo and Monkey Pirate's micro, but my micro is absolutely slow and I wouldn't really rely on that. So fast forwarding a bit, he ends up rushing me with 2 fortified ZMGs as I was trying to set up defense for 26, which did kind of screw me over, as I wasn't really 100% sure what to do. So this time I was thinking, you know what, I'm going to dedicate it to Sub Commander, and just see how good Sub Commander, like, kind of by itself would end up being. So I end up selling for Sabo, just kind of slowing down those ZMGs, and well, what can I say, Sub Commander, I guess is decent. It did do some damage, but honestly, it is a bit disappointing how much damage it's doing. So at this point, I've kind of given up, and I'm just like, I'm going to have to first strike one ZMG, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with the second one. I could have probably sold and rebought it if I put down, favorite trades, but I didn't really think about it at the time. So here I was just thinking, how am I going to kill the second ZMG? I definitely don't want to pop it, but then I remembered that, oh yeah, I have boat. I can just Pirate Lord this, and of course I get the wrong cross path boat first until I actually end up buying Pirate Lord. And so I guess that I had to sell Sub Commander for that, which I guess is fine. He sends more PFPs underneath, which I ended up boosting against, as I wasn't really sure. I assumed that this was an all-in rush, so I ended up kind of boosting early. Even though I could have just, throw it in here and just kept buying or selling Monkey Pirates. And I'm pretty sure he won that money battle in the long run. Now, we definitely don't want to take the game to bad, as well. My bad DPS, well, is solely Ninja. And I kind of far off from Master Armor. I can't afford it if I guess just kind of waited for round 30, but I really don't want to do that. So really the next round was just kind of like kind of an all-in, do-or-die kind of type of thing. So ZMGs with DTs. His DT defense, I guess, is not terrible. He does have assassins, but I feel like if I send enough, I should be fine here, in which I end up being fine. I don't feel like I did too bad for playing that star map for the first time. It's a pretty fun map, really one of my favorite maps in the entire game. So in this next match, we're walking the spoon oil strat yet again, boat Alex Factory, which I actually find to be a pretty fun strat to play, even though I'm gonna admit I'm not really the best at it. I'm actually kind of trash. I'm not really trying to set up boat alt eco, but still is pretty fun to actually play and kind of use Factory. Spectre I feel like is a pretty good tower, but I don't really think we see it used too much. Probably just because, you know, Darling again is kind of broken, and I guess not really broken, it just kind of does way too much for like its cost. Not really speak too much about it. Basically it's just a jack of all trades, a good early game, good mid game, and also good late game that no other tower really has, but I guess just kind of a whatever type deal. But Bulldog Spectre, I do feel like it can be a good contender to actually beating, I guess, Darling, depending on the map. Long maps, I don't really feel like you would do too well, as again, most of the long maps in this game that I guess don't really have too much water, like, you know, in the wall and of course Mayan. So if you couldn't really tell right now, you know, Thanatos is definitely going heavy meta with DJ Ben and of course, you know, Darling. I've changed a bit how, you know, I played Bulldog Factory. Usually before round 5 I would try to set up a merchantman, just tank some lives, and then kind of go from there. I don't really do that anymore, simply just because, you know, we're going against, you know, meta strategies like, you know, with Darling, especially with, you know, with the other opponent has Benjamin. I definitely do like to try to leak as little lives as possible, so that way if the game does go late, you know, I have the advantage. You know, I do like to have my opponent rush me instead of it being the other way around, as I do feel confident in being able to defend rushes. I don't really feel confident in being able to send said rushes, but I guess it's kind of fine or whatever. I'm also still trying to debate what would be the best hero for this strategy. Definitely Brickwill, if Brickwill were to ever come out eventually, although that's going to be a long time. I think Azili or Pat Fusty's next, but I was thinking maybe like, you know, Benjamin, but I really can't set up Benjamin until like, you know, middle round 5. I have this boat just kind of here as I'm debating, you know, whether or not I actually want to have this down just in case, you know, he sends out white balloons. But since he didn't send out any white balloons, he's still going blue balloon eco. I decided to get Benjamin down just kind of as soon as possible. He'd have to upgrade his Darling into an 022 or to defend whites, and even still, he's still leaking quite a bit to the white balloons. But I guess with Benjamin leaking lives doesn't really matter too much, as you can eventually just gain them back quite easily. And yes, it's kind of a bit of an annoying thing about Benjamin, but since I'm using Benjamin this game, I can't really complain about it too much. So I decided to not set up my merchantman and just decide that maybe I should go for Alchemist. I actually changed my mind just kind of in the middle. He sent black balloons out, which again kind of screwed me, as again I placed down boat and I realized, oh yeah, I definitely do need Berserker Brew for, I guess, round 6 and 7. While boat is sort of handling, it is kind of a bit sketch. I will have to get this eventually, so it doesn't really matter too much. Plus, again, you know, I can definitely make it up late game with, you know, favorite trades. Having increased sellback is actually pretty nice. I've actually noticed being able to buy and sell Spike Storm over and over and over for basically what feels like infinity is a pretty nice feeling. Even though it's like not really infinity, but for most rushes that isn't like really bad or anything. Like Spike Storm under favorite trades is a pretty good combo. Now skipping forward to round 17, where I'm greeting heavily with 4 merchantmen before round 18. I didn't have a Moab sending me simply just because, you know, Spike Balls is pretty overpowered. I wouldn't really say it's overpowered, but it is pretty good, and it's really difficult to rush mid game. My Moab defense is pretty, I guess, solid right now, and if he does end up sending me an F Moab, I can defend that pretty easily. Unfortunately, I'm encountering the bug where my Eco Bloon is stuck now, so I'm really have to rely on just kind of Benjamin and Merchantman, which is a bit annoying, but hey, what else can you do about it? Eventually gets unstuck, but you know, it is kind of annoying that it even happened in the first place. I even went for a favorite trades when in the middle of round 18 before it even started, so this was kind of that. He did end up getting a central market, and so I am being a bit short of monkey pirates, but I end up affording it eventually. He ended up sending 2 F mobs, which doesn't really concern me too much, as I only really need to hook in that first one. Spike balls and everything else can tank the rest. He ends up sending a 3rd F mob, which is a pretty interesting decision in itself. He is going heavy on those fortified mobs, which I guess does make sense since I'm really heavily relying on spike balls for this. but I believe in Spike Ball's supremacy. As you can see here, Spike Balls like with boost, and of course I do end up getting another one in the middle, but even then it was pretty easy. Although I will admit it was a bit close. If I didn't boost there, I probably would have been screwed for that one, but hey, it worked out in the long run, so can't really blame it. You know, Spike Balls is pretty good. Again, selling that Spike Factory I placed down for another favorite trade. It's really just maxing out on how many favorite trades I can put down. As greeting against, you know, Dartling Farm and DJ Ben DFN is a bit important. Like, you know, beating DFN, I found, you know, is a bit difficult. I thought he was dead to AI here, to that fortified, not fortified mode, the regular mode. So I decided to send some BFBs to maybe pressure him, maybe force him to get some defense down, as he does really have to work to defend this one. So I was really just kind of hoping that, you know, like low-key this would end up killing him. As if we do go late game, I don't think I have the advantage here. I was accidentally sending purples when I didn't really mean to. I was looking for the hotkey for black balloons, but I guess, you know, maybe that kind of forced him to maybe do something. I ended up getting Rocket Storm and just Sticky Bomb, so I guess it was kind of worth the send, even though it didn't really end up killing him. I do feel like it did put some pressure on, which I guess is a good thing. He does have a 000 farm that's been there for a while, so I was kind of wondering what he actually plans on doing with that. Which I guess, I don't even know. This kind of just been there. Maybe he plans on upgrading, or he's just kind of like saving to see what he could rush me with, which I guess would be fair. Now he sends a ZOMG my way, which again is a bit of a curious decision, as again, I can just sell for Pirate Lord. So I was kind of like wondering, you know, what was he thinking there? I do think that he ended up winning that battle anyways, simply just because I did have to sell like my two favorite trades and a merchantman for a Pirate Lord. I ended up wanting to sell Pirate Lord back, so I decided to get favorite trades, sell Pirate Lord for another tower. Wasn't really sure if it was worth doing, but I figured that it probably was worth doing. I don't really too know. I'd probably have to do the math on that. He's still busy with that ZOMG over there, and you know, this is why you should always send ZOMGs against some DFN players. They do have to work a lot to defend. Having to get Sabo, use Rocket Storm, get another Hydra Rocket Pods, as well as a Sticky Bomb, and they're still starting to defend, although he didn't really use Beatdown, which was a bit curious. He should have been, you know, level 10 by now, and I think Beatdown still does affect the BFPs and, you know, turn it down into Moabs. I thought he was dead here, but yeah, I guess just major desync. It's a bit unlucky, or that's not really unlucky, just a bit annoying watching, you know, 4 Moabs just go through my opponent's side and end up having him take 0 damage, but it's whatever, what can you do about it? Hopefully just NK fixes their servers eventually. So I have to worry about round 26 defense, which is low-key a bit scary, as my round 26 defense is, well, of course, you know, Spike Storm. Alright, so we're skipping forward a bit to round 28. He ended up not sending any DTs at me, which is a bit of a curious decision. He sends another fortified ZOMG, but again, Pirate Lord is pretty cracked, so wasn't worried to me too much. Now round 30 is coming pretty soon. I figured, how in the world am I going to be in it bad? Well, I figured that maybe, you know, Peace Spike can help me out a bit. He has ended up sending another fortified ZOMG, which again is a bit curious, as I can just wait out the cooldown for, well, Pirate Lord. I do think, I kind of wondered if he was just a bit wasting money here, as he does have to worry about bads on his side as well. He could try to sell for maybe, you know, a Master Bomber, but I feel like this map is short enough to where he's going to probably need a lot in order to defend this. And so it's just having Peace Spike in the back just kind of build up spikes, even though it's not really the best placement, as Peace Spike is still doing damage to the regular AI balloons that are spawning. So that is a bit annoying, but what else can you do? Honestly, I wasn't really planning on defending a bad. I was really just kind of hoping that, you know, maybe I could end up doing something to maybe just kind of take him down. And I'm getting a 302 Destroyer, but I'm not even sure why, as a 302 Destroyer is not really going to do too much at this point of the game. He ends up sending me an FBAT, but I figured that the 4 tight ZOMGs, the new Bloon sends that came over, would probably be better. But he has a story about the AI BFB on his side, which he is slowly dying to. And that it's kind of a shame that I end up dying to that, as I did want to see him defend the BFB that ended up spawning. And I also wanted to see if I could defend the FBAT, you know, just like Spike Storms and Peace Spike. But maybe it was a good thing I didn't, because I feel like I probably would have lost if I did have to try to do that. But I guess losing can be fun sometimes, just seeing what your opponent can and cannot defend. If you liked the video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, join Discord. Link is down below in the description.